It is my pleasure now to introduce our next speaker. Cat Keating is originally from St. Cloud, Minnesota. She graduated from Creighton University with a bachelor's in philosophy and justice and peace studies in 2010 and volunteered with the Jesuit Volunteer Corps for the following 2 years in Tanzania. For the last 2 years, she has been a graduate assistant in the CCSJ while completing her master's degree in conflict and dispute resolution from the Werner Institute. She will spend the next 3 years working with the Mennonite Central Committee in Bethlehem, Palestine, and is being missioned here today with all of you. Please join me in welcoming Cat Keating.
Mission. Mission is being present to the person in front of you. To me, this is the best definition of the term mission that I've come across. I heard it at my Jesuit Volunteer Corps International Orientation before I went to Tanzania, East Africa, for 2 years. This quote symbolizes the beginning of my long journey of preparation to go to Tanzania, the time in Tanzania itself, and the ongoing adjustment back here at home. This journey has molded me into the person that I am today. It is a marker for growth and change. I am so impressed by the wide array of missions that we are about to embark on today. Some are heading to domestic sites, some internationally, some to religious life, etc. It's incredible. What I would like to do this morning is to share some stories of my journey and highlight some insights that I gained and continue to gain living the life of someone who has been missioned. As Ken mentioned, I am both missioning you all and being missioned myself by heading to Bethlehem, Palestine, starting in July for a 3-year adventure. I'm knee-deep in mission today. I'm going to request the help of the poem Paschaltide by Alla, Renee, Bozarth, as well as your participation for me to share stories and insights with you all. So, if everyone could take out those poems, and right now, if the students being missioned could read with me the first 2 stanzas of the poem. Pack nothing. Bring only your determination to serve and your willingness to be free. Don't wait for the bread to rise. Take nourishment for the journey, but eat standing. Be ready to move at a moment's notice. Do not hesitate to leave your old ways behind. Fear, silence, submission. Only surrender to the need of the time, to love justice and walk humbly with your God. These stanzas speak to me of the importance of flexibility and open-mindedness while on mission. Flexibility, being ready to move at a moment's notice. This is one of the most helpful tools to remember when trying to be present to the person in front of you. The communities that we are going to enter in the next step are going to have ways that they go about doing things. And these ways will often be very different from the ways that you go about doing things. For example, a common difference is a sense of time, or a way of eating food, or types of food, ways that men and women interact with each other, languages spoken, ways of showing and giving love, etc. I remember the first time that I went to a Tanzanian dinner. I had to accept very bewilderedly how women would come with a pitcher of water and wash our hands, holding a bowl underneath to catch the runoff. This was very uncomfortable for me the first time I did it. How could I let this mother, who had just worked so hard to prepare a meal, now wash my hands, I should be washing hers. And I almost refused that first hand washing. But I saw how Tanzanians and my fellow Jesuit volunteers were graciously accepting the ceremony, and I decided to follow suit. I came to adore that tradition, especially those rare times when gender roles were reversed, but what it symbolized. Traditionally, Tanzanians work mostly with their hands, and they eat mostly with their hands. So washing those hardworking hands was such a ritual of hospitality, rooting back to culture and tradition that is slowly dying and fading away because of globalization. That story was the first of many experiences that slowly opened me up to greater and greater gentleness, of acceptance of difference in culture and ways of thinking and being. To be able to be flexible takes an interior orientation toward open-mindedness to the new, the strange, the unknown. We will be adjusting to a lot of new, and so having a sense of watching, observing, and reverencing will help us sink in deeply to the places and people that we will encounter. But how do we walk humbly? The next two stanzas will give us some insights into how to foster a sense of humility. So, missioning students, if you could read with me again the next two. Begin quickly before you have time to sink back into the old slavery. Set out in the dark. I will send fire to warm and encourage you. I will be with you in the fire, and I will be with you in the cloud. You will learn to eat new food and find refuge in new places. I will give you dreams in the desert to guide you safely home to that place you have not yet seen. The stories you tell one another around your fires in the dark will make you strong and wise. These stanzas speak to me of the decision to trust. How far are we going to trust the God, the Spirit, the calling that is taking us onto this incredible journey? I asked myself that question within the first few months of being in Tanzania, when I got really sick with a parasite. So sick, so far away from home, scared. I asked that question again the time that I had rats in my room during my second year in country. I asked myself those questions during the really tough times that are not pretty, because I showed myself my own weakness and my own failures. One of the moments where I was shown myself the most was in community during my second year. Halfway through the year, things were going pretty well, until suddenly I began to notice that my first-year community mate, whom I had been mentoring into life in Tanzania, began saying a couple of words that I didn't know in Swahili. Curious. And then suddenly she joined a choir. And then she was hanging out with our friends by herself. And it went on like this. And instead of thinking, great job, good for you, you're making a life here for yourself, congratulations, I thought only of myself. Is she trying to make me look foolish by saying those Swahili words that I don't know? Is she trying to steal my friends? And worst of all, is she a better Jesuit volunteer than me? Pretty self-centered and fearful thoughts. But this was when I was really humbled, when I did not always respond perfectly, and when I lost my patience or became jealous. I noticed this behavior and I was disappointed. I knew I wanted to be better. These times, though, helped me to erase the picture of my own perfection that I had been clinging to for a long time. The picture that was blinding me to humility and compassion. I found that when I saw my own frailties, I was able to be much gentler with others' faults. I judged others much less quickly because I knew that I would not want to be judged in the same way for my own shortcomings. These journeys, our missions, are going to be difficult because of sickness and rats and a plethora of external hardships. But they have the potential to be, even more so, times where we are shown ourselves more deeply. Are we still going to trust the call of the God of love who has asked us to take this journey, even when we are shown our dark places? Can we trust that we are being formed and changed in ways that will make us more loving, stronger, more compassionate, and more resilient in the future? Can we trust this process of formation? The next two stanzas I would like for everyone, all of us, friends, family, loved ones, and those being missioned, to read these two together. Some of you will be so changed by weathers and wanderings that even your closest friends will have to learn your features as though for the first time. Some of you will not change at all. Some will be abandoned by your deepest loves and misunderstood by those who have known you since birth and feel abandoned by you. Some will find new friendship in unlikely faces, and old friends as faithful and true as the pillar of God's flame. These are scary lines. Abandonment, being misunderstood. Both being abandoned as someone on mission and making others feel abandoned by leaving them. This is powerful and pretty terrifying stuff. In my experience, I have been extraordinarily blessed with loved ones who are willing to let me go far away to fulfill my sense of mission. I found that my parents, probably the ones who always give the most when I leave, were my rocks while I was in Tanzania. I was not able to talk with them or see them as often as I do when I'm here, but in a place of such difference and things unknown, I relied on their phone calls, counsel, packages, and never-ending support from afar. Even so, it is tough. Missing things in the family or with friends, large things like a sibling's wedding, medium things like birthdays, and those things that are seemingly small, a new haircut, a new building or development in your neighborhood. Can we trust that good things are also in store for us through the pain? While I was gone, away from friends and family here, I found friends and family in Tanzania, like Dominic, my best Tanzanian friend who was the librarian at the school that I taught at, like the Nandi family, who became my Tanzanian support system while there. There is beauty and joy in this mission too. These relationships do not replace who and what is at home, but our love expands to be able to include our new community mates, people you serve and encounter, and those who you are being present to right in front of you. And this is where I ask you to, parents, friends, loved ones, how far can you extend your trust in your beloved's call? How much can you allow for that person to go to learn, grow, experience joy and pain apart and away from you, but perhaps closer and closer to their Creator's heart? This is a tall order and a task that I seem to be continually asking my loved ones to do. But I know that my journey to, in, and from Tanzania has only strengthened my power to be present to the person in front of me, including my loved ones who I leave behind for a time. Those being missioned, please read the next stanza, just the single one with me. Sing songs as you go and hold close together. You may at times grow confused and lose your way. Touch each other and keep telling the stories. Make maps as you go, remembering the way back from before you were born. My last bit of insight, which can be both for those being missioned and the loved ones who are missioning: nourish yourself with a good support system. Talk to one another, perhaps those who are in this room, about your experiences as you go through them. Support one another and find those who will love you and listen to you. Remember to access joy and goodness. You are sent on this journey for a deep peace and a joy to make itself known in your life. As much as you can, laugh your way through times of struggle. Share your story as much as possible while you are going through it and when you return. This is how you bring your loved ones with you on your journey, and they too experience the power of mission. The mission continues, so if we can all together read the last bit of the poem. So you will be only the first of many waves of deliverance on these desert seas. It is the first of many beginnings, your Paschaltide. Remain true to this mystery. Pass on the whole story. Do not go back. I am with you now, and I am waiting for you. Thank you.